What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jonathan D'Angelo, a.k.a. Johnny D.
And it's your fitness expert, Damn Dad Bod.
And Twitch streamer, Ash the Conqueror.
And you are tuned into the Blerd View today. And today, tonight, this morning, whenever you listening, we are here to talk about Wonder Woman. But first and foremost, I want to shout out one of the newest members of the Blerd View, Ash the Conqueror 202, our Twitch streamer. Who streams on a rotational weekly basis for us on Twitch. Such things as Zelda and Miles Morales. That Miles Morales stream was hilarious. I'm not even gonna hold you. It took you like 2 hours to clear that one room, and I felt your frustration because I got stuck there too. So I feel you on that.
Hard, too many of them.
Listen, but we're not here. Listen, we're not here to talk about none of that right now. We're here because y'all nerds have the audacity.
We're here to clean out the garbage.
That's what y'all have the audacity to trash Wonder Woman 1984. I refuse. I will not tolerate the slander and disrespect. And y'all are saying y'all don't like it.
So it's basic.
Ash, so you know what Johnny just reminded me of. So you know that meme with the possum guarding the trash. Just imagine that this whole time.
So before we get into that, fuck you. Before we get into that, you know I feel about DC Comics. Before we get into that, let me give y'all a brief rundown of where they pulled the source material for 1984. So in the beginning, we saw the Amazons competing in a competition, and that stems from the original Wonder Woman comics written in the 40s and 50s. There was a lot of Amazonian lore back then, and that was back when Wonder Woman's mom was actually Wonder Woman before Diana became Wonder Woman. The other characters in the show, in the movie, the god of deception, he was actually one of the major Wonder Woman villains who teamed up with Mars or Ares, her brother, to take her down. Cheetah has been in Wonder Woman since the 50s. She's Wonder Woman's key arch nemesis, like the Joker to Batman. She got her powers from she was an archaeologist, scientist. Her lore has retconned itself over DC's history, but she got her powers through a magical god, a curse, as you will, and she befriended Diana, became cursed with the powers of Cheetah, and then slowly lost her humanity to become Cheetah. So that was actually pretty comic book accurate, the way they stuck to Cheetah's lore. Maxwell Lord was another villain, because we had 3 villains in this movie, technically 4, but 3 major villains. Maxwell Lord showed up in DC Comics in I think the 60s and 70s, but Maxwell Lord used to fund the Justice League back in the Bronze Age. And what happened was he was funding the Justice League to learn their secrets. And he got a hold of a mind control device, so similar to what you saw in 1984. And he used that mind control device to mind control Superman. And he took control of Superman and was going to use Superman to kill the Justice League and take over the world. And to stop Maxwell, the only way to stop Maxwell Lord from taking over Superman was for Maxwell Lord to be destroyed. And so Batman wasn't going to kill him. So Wonder Woman was like, fuck it. And she killed him. And that's how Maxwell Lord became a major Wonder Woman villain, was because of his betrayal of the Justice League. And I like how they orchestrated Maxwell Lord. They gave him, I knew the story very well. So I knew that I liked the approach that they gave. It was very similar to the comics. I didn't have a problem with Maxwell Lord. I didn't have a problem with the God of Deception. I didn't have a problem with Cheetah. I thought Cheetah was orchestrated very well. There are some things I didn't like about Cheetah, like how she had to be like the nerdy, discarded, but kind-hearted comic book character trope that all the movies do, like Jamie Foxx's Electro, you know what I mean? Or Dr. Octavius's Doc Ock. Like, it's always that like discarded, nerdy. I hated that, but the evolution of her character was lit. And I like how they brought back Steve Trevor, but we'll get back to that. But that's where they pulled the lore from. I didn't have a problem with this movie. Y'all wild. I need y'all to break. Somebody speak. Somebody explain to me why this movie was trash.
Ash, you wanna take this? You wanna go first?
I need somebody to say something. Because y'all wilding right now.
It's too long. As I had said to you earlier, it doesn't need to be 2.5 hours. And also, like, I don't know, like the fighting scenes, they just weren't. I don't know what it was about them. Maybe like the CGI threw me off. But I don't know, it just seemed very cheesy to me. It didn't have the edge that it needed, that the first movie had. The first Wonder Woman. And I get it, like 1984 is probably supposed to be fun, I guess, but no. Mm-mm.
So, I get what you mean. I don't agree that it was. I like the whole '80s aspect of it. I'll start off with the stuff that I liked, since Johnny's already upset. So I like the '80s aspect. I was like, okay, this is very '80s of them. Everybody's wearing '80s clothes. They got '80s cars. Wonder Woman's wearing bright colors. I'm like, all right, this is the '80s. This is the time where America's thriving, at least the white part. And and I'm like, okay. And I appreciate how fast she was, all her powers and everything. What I didn't like actually goes back to the beginning. So you remember how she was like, her mom was like, oh, just watch what everybody else is doing and learn from them. Like, these are Amazons that have been doing this their whole life. And she just came through whooping all they ass as a 5-year-old. I'm like, what? She couldn't even be a teenager for this. She a 5-year-old shooting arrows on the horse backwards, upside down.
You didn't
hitting
like that
her target.
part?
That part was crazy for a 5-year-old to do.
But you got to remember, Diana is old as shit, so she might not have been 5. She could have been like 100. You know what I mean? Like that. Like she could have been like 500.
That 7-year-old girl was out there.
No, you're not going for fuck it. Okay.
On Ultimate Amazon Warrior, just giving everybody the business. And you're gonna tell me that you mad because you lost? This is your 8th year of life. Your 8th. These people have been training for 20-something years, and they got second, third,
Why can't
fourth,
she be
last?
a prodigy?
Nah. I mean, she is.
Nah.
All right, so I accepted it because she's Zeus's daughter. So I'm like, okay, all right, I guess I'll let that slide. So then she grows up, and we all know what happened in the first Wonder Woman, where she loses her man and everything, and now she's living life just saving people, and then it just got boring. It got real boring for a long time. It got so boring that I lost what was happening. When I got back, they were like, oh, there's a rock that grants wishes. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And this dude's like, oh, I want to be the Rock. And I'm like, what? And then it just disappears, and he's just granting people wishes. And I'm like, oh, good for him. He's gonna be rich. And then he's evil. Out of nowhere, I'm like, what? Evil? What are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm dying. I was like, Mandalorian, what are you doing right now?
Yes.
So no,
that's why
Baby Yoda would be so disappointed.
Yes, that's why I couldn't even think of what to say, because there's that gap that you're talking about.
See?
That my brain's just like.
You mean the story development arc? The same story development arc your shonen anime takes forever to do? You mean that 45 minutes? It wasn't spread out over an entire season of shonen, so I expect you to not get it. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, it was 45 minutes of solid character development. They developed you guys can say what you want. They developed every character perfectly. And that's in between the beginning and when Maxwell Lord became evil. Because he wasn't evil, he just got greedy. it wasn't an aspect of good or
So
evil so much. It was, should you have, like, is enough
that
enough?
no one man should
Because
have that
the
much power.
same message they had in Wonder Woman 84, they had in Soul. If you saw Soul, it's the exact same message in both movies. So it's just one humanizes a god, whereas the other reminds a human to stay human.
It was still boring, my guy.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think
I'm like,
that's the problem.
I get what you're saying, but it was boring.
I think that's the problem people had with the movie, was that it humanized an entire, like, Diana's a god, unbeatable, unkillable god. I think the problem is people like Patty Jenkins had to take time to humanize Wonder Woman for the story, because Wonder Woman has always been about moral of the story. Always. Every comic, every movie, it's always about the moral of the story. So when this movie broke it down in the beginning, y'all were like, okay, now we're going to get straight to the action. But we still had to humanize. We had to give Diana a purpose, like a reason to be that human, a reason to learn that lesson. You know what I mean? We had to bring Diana down to our level and develop, like, oh, I'm lonely. I fell in love for the first time in my entire however long she's been living life, and I miss this man. Like, I would do anything to bring him back, but at what cost? And it's like, well, like, you know, Cheetah, everybody had a cost. That was the point. And that's why the god of lies, whatever you want to call him, that's why he was a villain. Because yeah, he'll give you what you want, but it takes something from you. And for Diana, it was her powers. She exchanged her powers for dick. We'll get back to that. Like, Cheetah exchanged her humanity for powers. Maxwell Lord became the god. He traded his life force. That's what he was losing, his life force, for the ability to become powerful. So everybody was trading something. It's just, I think y'all are mad because Diana traded her powers for dick, and y'all just can't get over that. Like, I feel like that's what it is.
Can we take a second, because all of a sudden that one dude, I keep forgetting his name. Chris Pine. What is his name in the movie? Steve Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, Steve Trevor just popped up out of nowhere, and I was so confused because it was just some random guy walking, and then it flipped around and it was Steve Trevor. I was like, isn't that still the same person?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
His soul
I was like,
was brought back and inhabited the body of that dude.
So
yeah,
fuck him, fuck his family, fuck.
Right. Yeah, I kind of thought about that too. Like,
fuck his brother, sister, auntie, uncle. Wasn't nobody looking for this man. Diana just selfish. That's why she lost her powers. She was selfish. She always been selfish since Steve Trevor first got to that island. She's like, oh, is that Dick? I think I'm gonna leave home.
No,
Diana, no, you can't.
The rock for another man.
You know what's funny? I didn't like that part either, because I was like, you traded your powers for some penis? That's wild. Like because he's not like Steve was like, 1 minute I was dead and the next minute I woke up in this man's apartment. Like, he's like, you know, you can date anybody you want. She's like, no, I only want you. He's like, bro, like, you know, like, as any regular man, he's like, so you brought me back from the dead because you had sex one time? That's wild. That's wild. Ashley,
Horrible
would you like to speak on the craziness of women and why y'all would bring a man back from the dead after one?
No, we would not. I mean, I can't speak for all women, all femmes, but that don't sound like, no.
Wait. Okay.
No.
Wonder Woman is a little toxic.
The last movie, he participated in the patriarchy, so she could have found someone who's more aware and on her level than him.
I mean, but he became a changed man at the end of Wonder Woman 1.
Okay,
but do you think
get a man who's already changed?
do you think it was worth it though? Do you think it was worth her losing her power?
No. She should have found another man who was like her, maybe even on the whole aging things, kind of similar to her. And maybe that would be worth it. Then they could be like a power couple, even though her powers were kind of waning. They could put their powers together. But for this man who's basic, talking about, I just rewatched the first movie talking about I'm above average. No, you're not. You're not above average. What are you talking about?
No. No. Clearly, Steve Trevor dick was hitting enough for Wonder Woman to resurrect him from the dead in another man's body. Like, clearly that shit was hitting.
But what other penis has she had?
In 50 years.
Then how does
Keep
she
that
know?
in mind.
Then how does she
50.
know that?
50 years.
50 years.
How is she sure that that's the number one?
And he was
I
trying to
don't
pawn
agree.
her off. Well, he was like, you know, you can move on. Like, he was like, no.
Yeah,
Well,
he said that.
No.
well, I mean, well, she did say that she didn't have much of a social life.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I don't go out, I don't do anything." But you're so sociable, like, but you just don't. You just don't.
But okay, but what was the worst part? If this movie was about if this movie was literally the same as Soul, just in different sides
Soul
of the
got
same
its problems too, but okay.
That's another lot. That's another lot.
Yeah.
But it's like if this was the same lesson as Soul, right? That to know when enough is enough, right? To know when, to know, what, to accept what you have and use that versus trying to cheat like they talked about in the beginning. What was really the worst part? Because this was literally a life lesson movie on a superhero level. It was literally the Joker, but Wonder Woman. It had the same. This was what I'm saying. It had the same. Think about it. It had real life lessons like the Joker. But on a superhero level, right? It had the same emotional. It had the same emotional like stakes as Winter Soldier. And you can't say it had more. It had higher stakes than Winter Soldier, because you have to think, right? The point of Wonder Woman was they had to renounce their wish. And how many people do you think actually renounced their wish? How many people actually did it? A lot of people did do it, including Maxwell Lord. But there are some people who wished on that rock and didn't lose their powers from the rock, like Cheetah. And how many other people actually renounced their wish from Maxwell Lord? Some people didn't. So it was playing on human selfishness, sacrifice, the greater good. The stakes were just as high. Superman, I did the math. Superman and Batman were 35. Superman was 35 during Man of Steel that came out in 2016-17, which means in Wonder Woman 84, Superman was like 5. If they had nuked the planet, Superman and Wonder Woman would have been the only two people left. Like, the stakes were that high.
But, listen. All right.
he said, "Listen."
No, I'm still not convincing you. I'm still not convincing you.
He about to go in.
Listen. First of all, don't you dare disrespect the Winter Soldier like this. That movie was everything the first Captain America was supposed to be. It had all the action it needed to. It is rewatchable,
So
even though it's 2 hours. No, it's not.
Wow.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh gosh.
What they have, like, they had what, two real fight scenes between her and Cheetah, right? And then everything else was like Wonder Woman fighting humans that was way harder than it needed to be.
She was losing her powers.
She was pushing an LMTV sideways while running at 90 miles an hour. She got a scratch from a 50 cal bullet. 50.
That made no sense. Yeah, I was
scratch, like, and she's like, I'm out.
But listen, no, but that's the thing too. I feel like I didn't sense the urgency from Wonder Woman.
There wasn't.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing that was missing.
Like,
she was like, I could keep this man forever, like, as long as I could somehow manage to stop all the bad things in the world from happening.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, I was like, how did she know that it was, what's it, Max Lord? I keep thinking Max Power. I keep thinking Max Power because that Simpsons episode where he changes his name.
She put it all together with Steve Trevor. She was talking about it, like, because she had found she had found evidence that he had tried to order the stone off the black market so that he could get to the ultimate plot point of him becoming the genie like character.
Yeah, and she went through all that to talk to him when she could have just like ran past them to wherever they were going. She didn't have to do all that fighting. But I mean, I would say it would have made the movie worse, but we all know that's not true.
Shut the fuck. So what was the part that y'all? What was the part that y'all liked about it the most? What did y'all like about it the most?
I like the beginning, and I do like the fight with her and Cheetah, even though I heard a lot of people were disappointed with how Cheetah looked
Cheetah didn't even
compared to how.
Cheetah was a leopard. She was a white leopard, and they just ran with it. They're like,
So what was the best? What was the best part?
That's what I was Googling.
She didn't even transform.
Like I was like, Cheetah.
She was like, I want to be an apex predator. And then he's like, all right, cool. And then Wonder Woman gets there with her bird wings, looking like Birdman 84.
I thought she was like a very ferocious monkey, maybe. Because
I hate
of the
y'all.
fur
I hate y'all.
The tail.
She came through looking like Goldar.
So what's the so what was the best and worst part? So what was the best part for you then, Ash?
The best part.
You say you like the beginning and you like the fight. What was the worst part then?
The worst part. Okay. Yeah, I would have to say maybe the worst part was the part that I can't remember.
Damn.
Which is like everything building up to when he gets really, really crazy with his power and he goes to the president. I remember that in my mind prominently. And then everyone in the world sees him. That's when things start picking up. So yeah, there's this big gap that I just wasn't impressed with.
Somehow stole the whole president's bunker.
The president was just like, yes. I was like,
because he was under the spell of the stone, like the power. It was under the powers. It was the magic.
Okay, but then was it greed that Max was suffering from, or was it the power of the stone?
It's both. They go. He had to grant wishes, which is why he kept trying to grant wishes, because the stone, the power, it wasn't even the stone, it was actually the ring around the stone. The stone actually, there's a significance to that type of crystal, which is about wealth and riches and all that.
Citrine. Yes.
So it was ironic that it was that stone in particular, but it was the ring around the stone, and it had to grant wishes. So he had to grant. That's why he kept trying to grant people's wishes. He had to. He was driven by the magic of the ring to do so. So, that's why he took over the bunker and the broadcasting network. And he I have to grant these. I need you to say, I wish, because he had to grant them. The magic was demanding it, and it was draining his life force as he was granting wishes. And it was worse if he didn't grant wishes. And so he'd grant wishes, and then he would trade their life force for his, because he wanted to stay alive long enough to stay wealthy. But you weren't paying attention, so you wouldn't know.
I was paying attention. You know what? That kind of makes sense, because he would say, like, what do you want? And then, what are you willing to give up, kind of.
Yeah. And that's why, it was always tit for tat, which is why Wonder Woman brought back Steve Trevor, but then lost her powers. Cheetah lost her humanity, but gained powers. Like, it was give and take. So damn Dad Bod, what was your best and worst parts? Golly, y'all are savages. Fucking Marvel fans.
Man, it's the third movie that Wonder Woman's in? Fourth movie that she's in?
Yeah.
Something like that. Fourth movie. And it didn't have it that just wasn't it. That just wasn't it.
I have a question, y'all. I have a real question.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's not how she got the invisible jet, is it? I thought she got the invisible jet from someone else.
It's magic. In this movie, they wanted to showcase it through her having powers, because Wonder Woman can perform magic because she's a god. But in the comic book, it was magic. It was still magic, but it wasn't her magic that got the jet invisible. It was somebody else's.
Okay, that's what my boyfriend was saying. He was like, "That's not right."
Yeah, no, it's not. But I let it go because I didn't care. Like that.
He was also like, "The jet is going too slow. This is not possible. This is not possible. This is so fake." So I guess I have that bias. I apologize.
Wow. So I think the best part was the fight with Leopard, because I wasn't Cheetah. It was a little dark, and Wonder Woman came through in her Goldar garb. It's a good thing the Power Rangers didn't. If she was fighting the White Ranger, it would have been done. But she was fighting Cheetah, so she was good. That was a good fight. She did get her ass. She was getting her ass whooped. She brought all that armor just to get her ass whooped and have it torn up. Because at first I was like, okay, why didn't she bring this armor when Doomsday was fucking shit up? And then Cheetah just tore through that shit like a cat through a bird. I was like, oh, you're right. That's what happened to the armor. She went through one time and got fucked up.
She was just visiting to try and take the photo from Lex Luthor. That was
as fat. She rides lightning, my guy. She rides lightning. She should have been able to run back to her town, go get the costume, and come back.
I hate it here.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
The worst parts of the movie were the fact that she was willing to give up her powers for the dude she lost her virginity to. They hyped her all the way up. The fact that she was like, again, 4 years old, doing all this, outdoing all the Amazons, and then she's just getting her ass whooped by somebody who just got powers. You're like 100 years old already, getting your ass whooped by a 20-year-old? Really? You haven't been through more fights than that? You haven't fought real shit? Why are you getting your ass whooped?
It's not going to help that I tell you that Wonder Woman is way older than 100 at this point, but yeah.
Oh yeah. It's not going to help your case.
No.
But
you got to understand too, like Cheetah had animal instinct. Cheetah had animal instinct versus Wonder Woman's training. Like, who had Wonder Woman really fought besides that bootleg fight with Ares and some criminals at that point? Like, she didn't really fight nobody like Cheetah. She's never really fought anybody like Cheetah, who is literally a god in her own right.
She kind of fought Ares, Amazonians.
Yeah,
but they're not as strong as Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, Cheetah was as strong as Wonder Woman because she wanted to be just like Diana.
True. That's
yeah,
like she didn't. It was that fight with Ares wasn't really as significant. It's two siblings fighting. They fought each other. It wasn't as challenging. It didn't seem as challenging as Cheetah. Cheetah literally was beating her ass. And nobody except Wonder Woman's mom and aunt could train with her because nobody was as strong as Wonder Woman on the island.
On a quick side note, Ares gets his ass whooped way too much for the god of war. Way too much. Way too often. Everybody.
Which is why Cheetah was a better fight scene. And also, too, like animal instinct versus training, like you're taught to hold back in training versus animal instinct, they just go. So Cheetah was a raw instinct beating her ass. It was a little different. It hit a little different.
Twice.
Which is why Superman got his ass beat by Doomsday. Doomsday was just raw instinct beating the shit. Broly on Goku. Like it's raw instinct versus training. Like it's different. So I can't.
But that's why it was the best. That's why it was the best fight. They should have made her golden brown like her Cheetah. But
listen,
it's okay.
Look, we're out of time. Okay. I feel like Wonder Woman was one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
No.
Don't you dare compare it to Spider-Man ever again.
We gonna wrap this up.
No.
Listen, it's your boy Jonathan D'Angelo, aka Johnny D. Go ahead.
It's your fitness expert, Damn Dad Bod.
It's your Twitch streamer, Ash the Conqueror 202.
And where can they find you guys? Besides the Blerd View.
Oh, you guys can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter now, under the handle Damn Dad Bod. DAMDADBOD.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter name is Sorceress Sister Twin Rova, I think, which is a lot. My IG name is Alchemist Negra. I'm pretty sure. Negra means black woman in Spanish. And then on Facebook, you can find me Ashley Bozeman because I love Chadwick Boseman. And yeah, those are the main places. Oh, and then Twitch, of course. Ash the Conqueror 202. That's all.
And y'all know where y'all can find me, your boy Jonathan D'Angelo, aka Johnny D, on the Blerd View. You can find all three of us on the Blerd View everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. and Twitch at the Blerd View. And we are out of here. Moral of the story: don't do dumb shit for the dick. It's not worth it.
It'll ruin your movie.
Find a man at least with some cash. Come on.
Yeah, all right, we done.
Carol Danvers would never.
We are out of here. Peace. He said, find a man with some cash.